Program is sponsored by Shenanigan Sports Pub.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Lunchbox, coming to you live from our respective, I guess it's homes. Yeah, it's a home. It's a house. And wow, today on the calendar, it's the gambler's favorite day of the year, right? Jeff Defo DeForest, 7-11, except for me. I had some luck, or is it bad luck, on 7-10. 649,740 to 1. That's the number that came in for me yesterday. I hit a 649,740 to 1 shot yesterday at the poker tables. Jeff Defo DeForest, do you know what that was?
It was remarkable, actually, and equally remarkable was the fact that you didn't make any money on this thing. To speak of, I mean,
150, but then
was
I
there
gave
no
back.
high hand? I mean, for that half hour, I see guys with like 4 6s and they get the high hand, win $500.
So here's what happened.
What I mean, this was remarkable. This is something actually that I've been dreaming about, but only in a different capacity, where I would pick up the progressive jackpot when I was in Atlantic City. I actually envisioned myself doing this. Yes. Yeah. No, not on the machine so much, but on one of those games like 3-card poker or Let It Ride.
Okay. It's live cards.
It's good for $250,000 if you can hit this thing.
So tell them what happened to me yesterday.
Well, I mean, you have to tell the story. I mean, this is a lot better than your usual 2-5 offsuit.
No.
And you went all in, and, you looked across the table, and there was Daniel Negreanu.
This was incredible. Okay. And for all the people who are out there, want to hear about food, I'm going to say this was fueled by feeling rich and feeling good, because before yesterday's tournament at the Hard Rock, which I play on Monday nights because it's a nice little $150 tournament, and I've had some success lately.
Plus, you like to eat there.
And I went in with my friend before the tournament to Council Oak at the bar. Like, they don't have a happy hour to speak of. Everything. I mean, it's a happy place.
It'd be more like an unhappy hour considering the price. Yeah.
Well, the prices are.
Is there a sour hour somewhere where they just rip you off, like between 4 and 6?
Well, it's not a rip off. It's just expensive because that's how they roll there at Council Oak. But I had a nice old fashioned with bullet rye, very dry, and I ordered a shrimp cocktail, and they have beautiful shrimp cocktail there that's big and plump and juicy, and with the nice the cocktail sauce. And I
got you $50
horseradish.
50 already.
That's like whatever. But it was 2 drinks, and the shrimp cocktail was $66.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, 2 drinks.
my buddy Dan joined me. This was a little odd though, and before I get into the gambling part, he was like running late. He was in the garage. He's like, "Order me a drink." I said, "What do you want?" He goes, "An espresso martini." I was like,
Shirley loves those. My wife loves this.
I was like,
is that
wait
a
a
guy's
second.
drink though? That's not a guy's
No, I felt very okay. Here's not
a
to
glass of
cast
Manischewitz
aspersions.
would have been more manly at that point. No?
Not to all this whole gender assignments and gender roles, but I'm at the bar by myself.
Guys don't order chocolate martinis.
I have a friend coming to join me. I just said a friend. I said I actually said my buddy.
Oh my God!
No. I said my buddy. I said my buddy's coming to join me. He's going to order a drink, and I look down. He says, "Order me an espresso martini." And so I look at the bartender, very attractive blonde woman, and I said, "He wants an espresso martini." It's like
he wants an espresso martini.
Yeah, and then I felt like saying, "But I'm comfortable in my heterosexuality." Like I just felt like I'd lose my man card.
I mean, Ron DeSantis would have thrown both of you out of it.
And then she was like, "No, a lot of men love it. They're ordering it also."
Oh yeah,
okay. It's become really popular because it's both strong but also has a nice taste to it.
Here's a weird thing about that particular drink: women always want you to try a sip, and you have no desire to try a sip. Because you're thinking that's disgusting. A chocolate martini, I want no part of that.
It's like
give me one straight up with an olive or a lemon twist, whatever.
I'm not even going to say it's a woman's drink. It's like a 5-year-old's drink. If like 5-year-olds drank booze, they would
Yes.
drink the like chocolate espresso.
As a
martinis.
5-year-old, I believe, I wish I was around when that was a popular drink, instead of straining
And-
Aquavelva through bread.
And of course, me with my, the camera always eats and drinks first. So I put I took a shot of it, but it was before she put the 3 espresso beans on top. And then
Right.
she kind of gave me a look, and then she put the beans on top. I was like, oh, now I can take the picture and the photo. And then
Any whipped cream with that? Any whipped cream?
It's
on
like
top
a
of that?
foamy, like a creamy, foamy top. But like I said, I felt very. I just felt like I should lose my man card, but she assured me it was okay. Dan
Well, you're
showed up.
hoping a hot babe shows up, and then she realizes that you must be something, and takes an interest in you, and maybe slips you her phone number as you're leaving, even though you're accompanied by another hot, attractive woman.
Well, I don't know how.
Back in the
these
day,
things
I saw a picture of the young Mayo. That stuff might have been happening. Now, when Bonnie put that picture up on Facebook of
Back
you,
then, I was
at the-
married, so that stuff was not happening, or it shouldn't have been happening.
But you look
It
good,
was not
kid. You
happening.
really did, man.
Oh no, I've
You were
really
a
let
handsome
myself
guy.
go. I mean, everybody. You see a picture of me.
I didn't mean it
from
in that
15,
fashion. I mean,
20
you just-
ways.
you,
Oh,
you
no,
look
no,
good
that's
like 20
that's-
years ago, man. It was great.
That's I'm a realist. I could, I'm a.
How long?
Uh-oh. We lost Defo. Did you lose me? Are you there?
No, I see both of you guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. How long ago? That was 15 years ago. So yeah, I've
15.
really-
All right. You factor in, the acceleration due to the fact that you became the food critic.
the calories that have been consumed in the last 7 years since 2016. It's truly frightening. But that's okay. I'm comfortable.
It's okay,
in my
man.
own skin.
I feel like Rocky Balboa, man. I just got back from this doctor's appointment,
yeah.
and they look at the numbers, and I did the walk of
Any
life.
digits inserted anywhere? Any rubber gloves or nothing? Like that?
Nothing. You know what's weird? I mean, I don't know if I should even discuss this on a food show.
Oh,
but,
come on. For lunchtime, we'd love to hear about everything.
They'll discuss friggin' everything.
Okay, this is something I never heard of. Have you ever been handed a stool card?
Oh, fun.
All right. This I don't want to hear.
Is this the alternative to the? I mean, if it is, then I'm all for it. If this is the alternative to the old finger
the
and,
stool guard for the wait,
stool
the
card.
alternative. Oh, stool card. Okay, this
you have
I'm
to
not.
mail
I'm
in,
aware
I
of
guess,
the
a stool
box.
sample of some sort.
The box that's an alternative to having the
And then what my dog
colonoscopy.
does,
which-
and see if that works. And gets me.
All right, you know what? I don't want to go further. I regret.
So you've never heard of it? I have never heard of it either. But I guess it's
No,
fairly
but
common.
I heard of my joke that I told on the Gambling Gourmet segment on the morning show, where you go to the doctor and they say that you need the urine sample, the stool sample, and the semen sample, and you say, "Hey, I'm running late, doc. I'll just hand you my underwear." Oh, I am sorry.
That's
to
a good
everybody
one.
out there
You know
that's
what? I
eating
mean,
their lunch.
honestly, that might be one of your better jokes ever. In your many attempts, at comedy here in the show. That was a good one. I like that.
Can we get back to 649,740 to 1?
So what happened in this? I mean, you flop a royal flush, impossible.
I flopped a royal.
And you said it was the
flush.
second time in recent times that you've
Well,
done
and
that?
this is the sickest part. It's my second royal flush at the Hard Rock in a tournament in 10 days. I did it on July 1st. On
flopped
Saturday.
it though. I mean, where the
Flopping
three
it.
cards-
This was the first time I've
Yeah.
ever flopped a royal flush, and the odds, as I looked up, of flopping a royal flush
or one.
is 649,740 to 1. Because
Wow.
in order to flop a royal flush, it's the hardest thing to do in poker. It's incredible what happened, and it happened to me last night.
But did
and
you
all-
check after you flopped the flush? The royal flush.
We
Did
were
you
all
check?
in pre-flop. Okay,
Oh, you were
now
all
people
in.
are not
Okay.
going to understand this, but what happened was I went on a good run early. I had some chips. A guy was short stacked already. We're only about 25, 26 minutes into the tournament, and he pushes all in for about 5,000 units. I have about 20,000 units. I look down at an ace of diamonds and a jack of diamonds. I immediately
Figure
call.
you're good.
I call.
Yeah.
He turns over pocket jacks. I have an ace and a jack. So I have one of his cards, but I'm in
Yes.
a pretty bad shape. I'm basically a 3-to-1 underdog there.
Yeah.
Um,
Until they
and
put the three
lo and
cards in.
behold, this is the spooky part. One of my oldest and favoritist dealers, who used to deal at Dania back in the day, and at Dania, he once dealt me a bad beat and was responsible for me getting like $5,000.
Nice.
His name is Wayne, and he's a big horse player. And we were talking about Saratoga opening, and he's excited and all this stuff. And Wayne was the dealer who ace jack of diamonds, jack for the guy who's all in. Boom, flop opens up, 10 of diamonds, king of diamonds, and a queen of diamonds. And it was like
Royal
the whole
flush.
table.
Wow.
The whole table. I mean,
They were
guys were
stunned.
taking out their phone. I was so shocked and stunned. I didn't even take out my phone. It's the guy next to me who took a picture of it, who then sent it to me, and then I
good.
have it as proof.
I'm going to send that to my son because it's so unusual.
Judy is asking, "What's a royal flush?" Well, a royal flush.
no,
I
what
mean,
is
probably 99% of the food
Flopping
people
away.
here are thinking,
Okay.
"What
Royal
the
flush
hell
is
is this
just
guy
in
talking about?"
order,
Right.
some soup.
Yeah.
Okay,
But it's flop
in
or royal flush.
Texas Hold'em poker, you get 2 cards dealt to you. And in order to have 2 cards that are live to a royal flush, there's 32 different combinations of the different suits, along with the different 10 jack, 10 queen, ace queen, all those different. That's like 32 opening holdings in your hand that could lead to a royal flush. But to flop the 3 exact cards that you need, and I was looking this up all last night because there's like something like 30,000 different combinations that could come on a flop. But to have one of those 32 in your hand and then connect with the only one that links up to a royal flush so that you get 10, jack, queen, king, and an ace of all the same suit is 649,740 to 1. And not only was I not eligible for the full high hand amount, which at that time was either $500 or $1,000, because you're in a tournament, they have a reduced
why
high
weren't you
hand
eligible for this?
promotion. Because in a tournament, as I'm explaining, it's a reduced high hand promotion. They pull a little bit out of your entry, but you don't qualify for the full high hand. It's one of those annoying things. You only qualify for $150, which is basically your entry fee. So for
man, what a
flopping
rip.
something that was 649,740 to 1, which some casinos, if you flop a royal, they'll give you 50 grand. Some of them, depending on the card room and where you are, they have these bonus jackpots. Some of them you might get 10 grand. I got $150. 20 minutes later,
And a
I went
knish.
bust and free cup of coffee.
That's it.
And then I went bust
What?
20 minutes later. So then what do you
And
do?
lost.
So I got my $150 for my flopped royal flush. Do I just go home? Or do I
No.
go back to the window and have to rebuy again after, I already invested?
Go right back in
First one. Yeah, of course I did. And then I got knocked out in like 10 minutes and I
and become a
overplayed up
loser,
hand of
and
fools.
you end up losing for the night when you did
Right.
something phenomenal.
Like unbelievable.
That's
I
not a
should-
good sign, Mike Mayo. I would have to say that you've been searching, like the pilgrim searching, for an answer to what life means, and all of your buddies are cashing these $30,000 tickets all the time. You get a hand that should be worth like millions, and you come out a loser of
I
150.
get a poke in the eye. I get a little free roll action, and then I just give it all away.
You hit the pick six
And-
and lost money. Unbelievable.
It's incredible odds. Okay, and again, it's freaking weird because this was the second royal flush. The other one, it wasn't flopped. I turned it, meaning it was on the fourth card that they expose and they deal.
Don't worry, you've already lost everybody on it.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
people
Yeah.
that don't know Pokemon,
All right.
flop
It was also my 5th live royal flush in my life, which
Get
is
outta
kind of
here.
incredible.
Are you kidding me?
I've
You're
been
the king.
I've been dealt 5 royal flushes at live poker
The
games.
same guy who ordered a chocolate martini for a phantom person that was yet to show up.
I've never
And then
had a hole
tried
in
it
one in
yourself. Yeah.
I've never had a hole in one in golf. I've come really close, like 2 inches away. But
I would venture to say you never will at this point.
probably not.
No,
But
yeah.
to have 5 royals. But here's the kicker. This is why I guess when it comes to gambling, I'm kind of a loser. 3 of my 5 royals, like 2 of them were completely worthless, and I got 0 because they came in tournaments that were not even high hand eligible. And that's
Right.
what happened to me on July 1st, where I turned the royal flush and it was worth nothing because there was no high hand that I could even be eligible for. It just won me the pot. And then I ended up, busting out before the money. And then there was yesterday. So twice in 10 days to hit royal flushes is fairly incredible. And it makes me leery to go outside if there's lightning because I might get struck by lightning twice.
Let me show you here's my losing ticket. Okay. Summation of the story. I'm a loser. And I'm not what I appear to be. All right, very good, Mike Mayo. But
Well-
that is phenomenal. I mean, it was worthy of a couple of minutes of time here on the show.
At least I blended some food.
But now you're
it
into
with
your
the-
total gambling history. I
No,
mean,
but
outside of Sheldon G, nobody appreciates his story.
5 royal
which is
flushes
unfortunate.
something-
I thought it was phenomenal, though. I really, it was worthy of it.
My first royal flush actually came at Dania, and that led to something. It was a big pot in a cash game, along with like a $4,000 or some kind of bonus high hand. It was a bad beat, actually. The other guy had 4 kings, so it was like it was kind of good.
Jim Sarney says you should start a page called "Let's Gamble South Florida."
Let's gamble South Florida.
You know what? It may be more popular than "Let's Eat." No, people would rather eat than gamble. No.
Oh, great! Then they
What do
would
you
all,
think?
instead of bitching at the servers, they'd be bitching at the dealers. I couldn't believe that guy. He spiked a 2-outer on the river.
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah.
Oh my!
I had to wait 10 minutes. I mean, they said the 1-2 game was coming right up, and then they put me over on a bench over there, and I waited 10 minutes, and I never got my name called. Oh, my God. You would have a ball with that.
Yeah.
All right. So what'd you
So-
eat while you were there? Anything? Oh, you had the
I had the
you
shrimp
had the
cocktail.
$100 meatball or whatever that was.
No, I had the shrimp cocktail and the
Oh, the
thing,
shrimp
and then I got
cocktail, yeah.
knocked out. Then my daughter came and picked me up because she got done with her volunteer work, and it was still.
You have your
before
daughter
8 o'clock.
picking you up from Degenerate Casino episodes? Nice.
She's
Oh,
the
no.
best.
Mayo's the
What a
best.
And then,
disgrace.
I nursed,
Awesome.
I nursed my misery with one more drink at the bar while I was waiting for her to pick me up. And then, you know what? I did the only appropriate thing. That is I guess the dinner of champions when you flop a royal flush and yet
Oh,
still
no.
somehow manage to
Don't
lose.
tell me. Don't tell me.
Go ahead.
Skyline Chili.
Yeah, I had a can.
You
of
were
Skyline
there?
Chili.
No.
No, I didn't go. I just
Oh.
opened the can in my pantry.
Oh, even more.
And I made
disgusting.
some pasta, and I poured the can into the saucepan, heated it up, put it over the pasta with the
But,
shredded
I mean,
cheese.
just get some Hormel. I mean, at that point.
It was
At
in my.
least
It was
at least
already
it's
in my
chili.
pantry,
You
and
know,
I just.
if you want to put it on spaghetti.
I just said that would be the most appropriate way to celebrate a
Yes.
losing night after hitting a 650,000 to one shot would be
Nice.
with a bowl of Skyline Chili. I punished myself, and that
well
was-
deserved punishment.
And then I watched the home run derby, and that was really more punishment. I couldn't even get through that thing. It's like
It's a little slow moving, huh?
it was staggering.
It
And the
really
way
is.
they have the brackets. How about just have everybody go out there for a round? Everybody takes their cuts, and you take the top 3 for the final round instead of the stupid.
I think they used to do it
bracketology.
that way. They
That's
used
how
to do
they
it
did
in
it,
that
and it was
fashion.
great. I stopped watching it because it's fakakta the way that they do
The
it.
fakakta brackets make me angry for no good reason
stopped
because
watching
like who decides that and why?
After a
So-
while, that stick would feel like a log, though. I mean, after you had think about it. You hit 60 balls out of the park
Yeah,
in a
that's insane.
6-minute span. That's going to take its toll. It's been a long time. I used to like to go to the batting cages, various amusement parks or whatever when they had them, and I could hit a baseball. So but after you're in there for like 10 minutes, you're pretty much finished.
Yeah,
And,
it's these guys were whipped. I mean, they just that one guy he sent out 41 in the second round. He was spent. He couldn't even get to 20 that following round. But whatever. It was the whole thing was. It was just I was
It was
home.
kind of fun. I mean, it was okay, but it drags on a little bit.
I was dejected, and there was nothing else on. I was not going to watch that. What was it? Canadian wiffle ball tournament or something? That
Sarney was on to some women's, what was that? Cornhole. Professional cornhole. Where the women are as good as the men, Jim. I would admit that's true. Yeah.
That's like the summertime version of curling or something. So
No, I mean, you've seen that stupid game. I don't know.
Hey,
They never
Wimbledon.
miss.
Stupid cornhole.
Is there any Wimbledon news? I saw that Swiatek was playing, and she dropped the first set. Did she win the second set?
I don't know. I had to split.
okay.
Swiatek is how you pronounce her name, believe it or not.
Swiatek.
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 Shvi, as in
Shvi.
Schvee.
Yes, that's a type of soup. in
Antek.
Poland.
Swiatek.
Swiatek.
I've never heard her name pronounced that way until like recently. She must have pulled like we've been saying, one of those Tony Dorsets, where everybody, even after he told you it was Tony Dorset, you said, "Okay, Tony Dorset, it's Dorset." I mean,
Well, it's like Tim and Baloo, our friend at the Catherine restaurant. Everybody
but
in
what's
Miami.
going on there, Mayo?
Wait.
Tell us the truth.
Everybody
What's happening?
everybody in Miami, when he used to work in Miami, at Sugarcane was his restaurant down there, and he knows a lot of people. But everybody down there pronounced his name Timon because that was like the Latin thing. They
Timon,
just
yeah.
assume it was Timon, but
Sounds
it's actually
French.
Timon.
Okay.
That's how he pronounces it. That, as he told us on the show last year. What's going on? The
Why
Catherine
are
is
people
doing fine.
kvetching? Who's kvetching? It's
Nobody's
like one or two
kvetching.
people.
It's just and this leads me to my one of my topic points for today
Very good.
is the whole concept of the polarizing place,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically to have fun with myself and amuse myself on the Let's Eat group.
I know how you have fun with yourself, and we shouldn't discuss that either on a show. No, that's
play
not in vogue
cards.
anymore. All right, good. You've
Yeah,
broken
so-
that pattern. Yeah.
But I designate certain places that when people post about it on Let's Eat South Florida, it seems places that arouse very passionate responses, both positive and negative. And happens to be places most of the time that I like and find very
Yeah.
positive. But again, and we mentioned this yesterday, but places like our great sponsors and great supporters and Tropical Acres, they're a polarizing place. There are some people that love it and appreciate the history. There are others who just go in there and I guess they don't get it, or they think they're going to be going into the like a Morton's or one of these
Well, that's what
upscale
I'm saying.
chains.
Nobody can have a
steakhouses.
bad time there, though.
What
I
makes
mean,
it polarizing?
yeah.
Because people see steakhouse and they expect Morton's or with Chris.
Well, I
mean,
mean, I don't want to repeat all the bad, nasty things people say about it on the group, but there are people who just, find it not to their liking, and that's fine. But there's enough of them, and the camps are so far apart that I call it, I designate it polarizing place alert. Okay. Cafe Martorano is another one. Cafe Martorano is one that I'm actually in the kind of the camp that understands, that would maybe go thumbs down because of past experiences there. Although it has very good food, and I understand people who like it and who like to go there. I understand that. It seems like Runway 84 is becoming a polarizing place now, that people are having wildly different experiences with wildly differing viewpoints after they leave. And somebody shared that today. And Le Tub, the burger place in Hollywood, is now a polarizing place. Well, it always has been because of its outdoor nature, and at the past, before the ownerships changed, the service there could be cool, not cool. I used to say cool, bordering on indifferent. They could be a little bit nasty, but if you were regular, they treated you well. If you were a tourist that was asking for the air conditioned section at La Tub, they would kind of mock you a little bit, and maybe not. You wouldn't get the best treatment. There is no air conditioned indoor spot at La Tub; it's all outdoors. And then two of the latest and what places in Fort Lauderdale that are two of my favorite restaurants in Fort Lauderdale now. One being the Catherine, and the other being Heritage, and my man Reno. Now, the Catherine people, I don't know. There's some people go in there and they don't maybe like the menu. It's a little bit, it doesn't have standard dishes that maybe people in Fort Lauderdale expect, like a straight up steak and potatoes. Instead, he does things in a different way there, Timon, because he's a very creative chef, and he does things with French fries, like puts clam chowder on top of them. and
here's my
it's
thing, is that on the restaurateur, the restaurant, the chef, or is that on the customer?
It's on the customer. It's the customers that make a place polarizing.
You want more all-American or regular Italian or regular steakhouse, you're allowed to have them. Believe me, South Florida has a ton of them. We've talked about most of them. If you want to go out of your comfort zone and then don't like it, then isn't that on you? Like, why is that on the restaurateur to not have meat and potatoes? Like, that's why I love that freaking place, because we have so many places out west that are so like that I'd rather something different. I enjoy something different.
Me too.
But I know you, but I'm saying if you don't, then that's on you. Just don't go there. But to go and light a match and throw it into a thing of oil, like I don't understand it. Like, to me, it's just being childish, immature, and not understanding the room.
And some people don't like the $1 water charge. They think water should always be free, even if it's filtered and better than the tap water that you're getting. It makes no sense to me, but these are the things that contribute. And in the case of Heritage, it's not necessarily the restaurant, although somebody wrote a negative review, the saying was very loud in there and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, I understand there are some places that are loud. I've been able to have conversations and meals there, which I've never found it too loud at Heritage in Fort Lauderdale. But the other polarizing part of it is Reno Cerbone, the chef owner himself, because he's a guy, when you go in there, he's a prince. He's a charming guy. And I've gotten along great with him now, but if you leave a bad review on Yelp, he'll go after you in a way that is both amusing and also surprising, because some people would say, well, an owner should never do that. They should just say, well, sorry you didn't enjoy your experience, and you'd love to have you back and give us another try. He goes the opposite way, and he's kind of like we look forward to never serving you again. I'm going to read after the break, because there was a little exchange he had with somebody who besides posting on Let's Eat about the Loud experience, also posted on Yelp. And that's another thing. I don't understand these people who have to go on every review platform in the world. Like, just choose one, but I guess that's part of the whole. I don't know what it is, Defo. People feel like they're empowered, or they just get more
It's the
fame, or
fabled anonymous caller, calling in to tell Pat Riley he doesn't know squat about basketball. And it's Manny from Miramar calling in.
Yeah.
It's easy to be, and then if they ran into Pat Riley, of course they would be begging him for an autograph.
Yeah.
So that's the way that goes.
That's the way these people go. Hey, well, speaking about Tropical Acres, I got some great news, guys, because we were saying to ourselves, man, we're going around all these restaurants and featuring them, because they're doing lunch service and we go out and we get well fed. But I would love to go out and spotlight Jack and his great family. I mean, his son, Joe, and of course, Jackson, who's kind of like his adopted son, he calls him. So I went in there yesterday, and Jack was thinking the exact same thing. He's like, you know what? We have luncheons in here sometimes and special events. Like, one of those days, let's have you guys come in, and the kitchen will already be open and cranking out stuff. And you guys could come do a show here, and we'll spotlight some of the great food, the dishes, the prime rib, the filet mignon, the twin lobster special, all the other great side dishes and appetizers that you get during happy hour at the bar. And sit down and have a chance to actually chat with Jack. And he's been a longtime supporter of the show since we were back only on terrestrial radio back in the day. And now that we're doing the full video thing. We're going to be going out there later this month. And I'm very pleased to say that
beautiful.
It's going to be on the, what day did I say it was going to be? Tuesday, July 25th. It will be the day that the Lunchbox goes to Tropical Acres, and we'll get to sit down and have a nice lunch, and also chat with Jack and his whole family. And it's some really good stories and feel good stories at Tropical Acres. And for me, there's nothing polarizing about the place. It's a great place to go when you want good deal, great steaks, all the other accoutrements that make for a fine dining experience. The piano players, sometimes they have bands in the lounge. Of course, they have the happy hour in the bar from 4:30 to 6:30. They have half-price wine night Monday and Tuesday. They have, to me, the greatest prime rib at the lowest price that you can find. Then it comes with a salad and a side dish. All that equates to one of my favorite spots. It's a perennial. It's been there since 1949. It's Tropical Acres at 2500 Griffin Road. Go there. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And don't forget to get your loyalty card punched, because for every 12 entrees that you purchase, you get the 13th one on the house.
I love it that Jack honors that to the extent that there's no statute of limitations. That you brought in those punch cards from 28 years ago and they honored them. That was fantastic. No, they've been around a long time for a reason, because they're great at what they do. So looking forward to that. Nice job setting that up, Mike Mayo. A little lunch box from Tropical Acres. Looking forward to that. And more of the Lunchbox on tap here in a moment. How can a man hit something that's impossible and not win any money? It's amazing. We'll
I find a way.
that further in a moment.
Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Now we're back on the Lunchbox. It's Mike Mayo with Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. I guess I started a conversation on the group, and I'm going to get back to the restaurateurs who do battle with customers online because I find that amusing, and I'm going to get to some of the actual exchanges that Reno Sorbonne had with some customer at Heritage. But just kind of lighten the topic up for summertime. I bought a batch of Rainier cherries yesterday.
Oh, I love Rainier cherries.
At
Very nice.
my local
Those are so
Walmart
good.
market. And man, are they good. And I just kind of posted a picture of them, and I just said, fill in the blank of my favorite seasonal fruit is blank. And I said, Rainier cherries. What say you, Jeff Defo DeForest?
Yeah, cherries would have to rank very highly on the list. I used to be able to go through pounds of them at a time and just loved every bite. Watermelon would have to factor in there, although watermelon is kind of available year round. And this has been in jeopardy, right? Because of what's going on weather-wise in Georgia. But, a really ripe peach or plum is always fantastic if you get it right on the money. But my understanding is I saw a piece on the news about this, that because of weather conditions and possible, dare I say this, Ron DeSantis, climate change.
Global warming.
Oh,
Yeah,
Global
that,
warming.
the-
Climate change was the neutered, watered down version of global
the peach
warming.
crop, is very, very scant this year, to the point where they feel like the whole industry is somewhat in jeopardy. At least that was my understanding from this news story, and so they may be very much at a premium price. Peaches, if you
Yeah,
can find a good one.
I saw some of the feedback too that people were disappointed in the quality and the ripeness and the flavor of the Georgia peaches. And I have a feeling everything is going to be moving north soon. We might be getting Maryland peaches because, like,
That's the thing.
the same thing is happening in the wine world
Wine.
where
I was gonna say with
it's
wine.
getting too hot in the Napa Valley. Like
Yeah.
all the vineyards are burning up during the daytime. Yeah, they still cool off at night, but unless you're right along the coast where it stays cooler, like up in the valley there where it's getting a 120, they're frying all the grapes and some of the things like the cabs and the and the merlots are just too hot, and that's why now you're finding more and better wines coming from
Washington.
Washington State and Oregon. Oregon's had a good wine industry for a while, but even now BC and British Columbia you're going to start seeing wines from there. You're starting to see good sparkling wines, not champagne, but champagne style in England. I actually had some excellent British champagne style bottles. And that's all a function of changing conditions. It's interesting. So I guess what I'm saying, Defo, me, you, and Lubie, for our next business venture, we should maybe invest in some real estate in British Columbia and start growing wine up there.
Yeah.
There would be an earthquake almost immediately after we closed on the deed for the property. You know that we have no luck in this kind of thing. Come on,
so,
Mike Mayo.
Lubie, so did you say Rainier chairs? I love the Rainier
Oh,
chairs.
well, I enjoy them. They're like mini peaches to me. Like
they're just
they
bursting with flavor. And
most cherries or whatever to me, but I like the Rainier ones. But for me, it's simple. It's mangoes. I mean, mango season from June to about this week or next week. Maybe you might get to the end of July where you still see mangoes out and about. Yeah, you can buy them year round, but when you buy them year round, they suck. The mangoes that you find around town or anywhere in the Caribbean this time of year from late May to late July are freaking amazing. And I know you're not a big mango person. My parents aren't either, but being that I'm born and raised down here and my wife is Dominican, her father and I scout out mango trees together. Like mango is my favorite fruit by far. And it's sad to me when August comes around.
Well, it's one of those things that I would call mangoes a polarizing fruit because some people love them, like yourself. I don't hate them necessarily. I just don't love eating them. And some people actually have a certain allergy, and eating mangoes can, have allergic effects. And some people get nauseous and swelling and things like that. Defoe's looking at me like I'm half.
No,
crazy
I was
about
just
mangoes.
watching a little Wimbledon here in the background.
Oh, okay.
And,
Anything happen?
yeah, some good things. Djokovic is now down a break.
Okay.
With Andrei Rublev, the Russian, serving for the first set. So,
is there Americans still alive on the men's side? I think
Eubanks, I believe Chris Eubanks is still alive after the big upset yesterday over Stefanos Tsitsipas, who is living proof now that women weaken legs.
Oh, wow.
Since he's been connected with the lovely Paula Badosa of Spain, he hasn't been able to win diddly squat. So, and has been getting eliminated very early in tournaments so he can run off to Monaco or whatever and spend time with Paula, which I don't blame him one bit. She's been kind of out with an injury. But Djokovic going down would be, a huge, huge upset.
That would be a big story.
And you asked about Swiatek earlier. She did lose, according to Julian.
Wow.
To Svitolina, who, by the way, here's an odd trivia question. I believe this to be true, that Svitolina from the Ukraine is married to the now, I guess he might have retired, but may still be active, but the French player Gaël Monfils, who was always a very exciting athletic player. I believe they're married in
the name means nothing to me.
Gaël Monfils, no, he was a very exciting
I know
player.
Lendl, I know Nasty, Ili Nastasi.
You're going back a little too far there.
Bjorn Borg, Jimmy Connors.
Now you're the ancient one here, yeah.
Yeah, I just, there comes a point where I just kind of stopped following. I don't know why. Maybe
tennis is a great sport. I mean,
it is a great sport.
It's an individual sport that really, it requires so much. It's underrated as an athletic enterprise. That's for sure.
Here we are on the Lunchbox. Where else do you get talk about?
But
espresso martinis.
Weren't you at Wimbledon?
Wait,
I thought you.
No, I've never. I told you before. This is the one major sporting event I never got to attend, cover, or set foot on the hallowed grounds, the grass strains of Wimbledon. So I've never been there.
Because you were great at getting on a beat that somebody else, they couldn't go to Wimbledon, so you ended up going.
Yeah, Bricker never gave that up. Yeah. Bricker was like a pit bull when it came to
strawberries and cream. I mean, is that a thing that you would covet having?
I would call that a good seasonal fruit. The strawberries in England definitely tasted I guess a little bit more on natural. They're not
Oh, yeah?
as
Okay.
big and plump. They were more, but they were ripe and
It
tasty. A
tasted
little more
like dirt,
tart.
is what you're saying?
A little bit more tart. The,
Oh,
the
okay.
British strawberries were more tart.
That's why they're sour.
Again, where do you get talk about the odds of flopping a royal flush, a espresso martini, a stool card, and
Well, the stool car we didn't really
Wimbledon
extrapolate
updates,
on. I
and
would have liked to
your
explore that further.
favorite fruits? Getting back to mangoes,
We
yeah,
were chaotic this morning too. I think this is just a day of content chaos on all podcasts.
7-Eleven, roll
Yes.
those dice. You never know what's going to tumble out of the.
I saw a guy have an incredible roll when I was in Atlantic City. This guy held the dice long enough for me to disappear for a while, come back. He still had the dice, and then I drifted off to another area of the casino. And when I came back around to a place where I could hear this one guy screaming, who was very loud at the table and had a lot of money out there too. That same guy was still rolling the dice. It had to be a 45-minute roll. It had to be just incredible profits for everybody that was at the table.
That's an impressive roll.
Oh,
and,
my God. I mean, this guy was yelling like an hour after the fact. They finally made the point, which meant that he was rolling nothing but numbers for like 40 minutes straight.
When I flopped that royal flush yesterday, Defo, I squealed like a little schoolgirl. It was like-
I mean, did you give it away? That's what we were trying to figure. That could you be stone-faced after something like that? Well, the
no, I didn't
cards were
have
already
to be.
face
It was
up.
all
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
That was the nice
Yeah,
part.
that
I
was-
wasn't trying to milk anybody or get any more chips.
I
all
would
the
have
action
preferred
was done.
the story
was-
if you had milked it for like all it was worth.
Heads up. All the chips were already on the table.
Yeah.
All the cards were already exposed. It all just came down to Wayne laying out that beautiful 3-diamond all royal flush draw there. That was fantastic. Hey, mangoes. New York Times just did a big story about the whole mango culture and mango season down here in South Florida. I know you like to read the New York Post. I actually sometimes read the New York Times. And
That's a
speaking of the New
mistake.
York
I mean,
Times,
if you look at them philosophically and
That's a cut in the
intellectually,
sports section
yeah, that's I did want to bring
and
up
they
that-
dropped their sports section now.
entirely.
That's what I wanted to also discuss today.
That's crazy.
was that they announced yesterday. Look, they acquired The Athletic, which is like this online upscale, like cover every sport everywhere, every city, very ambitious, kind of like the National. You remember the National newspaper, the sports newspaper that
didn't last long.
Frank DeFord founded and had an all-star cast and went through a Mexican media mogul's millions very rapidly, so that it only lasted about, I think, maybe
That's where
a year
Norm
and a
Chad
half.
established himself.
Yes, Norm
Yes.
Chad, the man, and his
Norm
football
Chad.
picks was classic. Before that, he was at
What was he? He was a
Washington
media
Post.
critic.
Well, he was at the
Sonny.
Washington Post, and he went back to the Washington Post. He was hilarious.
Yeah.
But getting back to The Athletic, now the Times acquired it, and then they go off and they gut their own sports department.
Yes.
Yesterday they announced, and this I want to just express sympathies to any of the staffers there who they say they're not.
I think they
laying
only
any-
had like one guy writing for him.
no,
at
there
this
was
point.
40, and
40
and
guys on a
they
sports.
actually had a good sports section. They didn't do games coverage or beat coverage for the New York teams, but on a national scale, they covered things like the Olympics. And Joe Drape, their horse racing writer, was like the only guy that kept the game honest. He was the one. He had incredible sources that found out about scandals involving that Pick Six ticket a while back, and then all these buried positive drug tests that some of the top trainers like Bob Baffert and Todd Pletcher's horses have been getting recently, and he's been getting the scoop on how some of these things have been maybe covered up or not
Perhaps,
really
glossed over
notified.
a little bit by the
Yeah,
stewards.
so Joe Drape, I mean, he should be covering horse racing, and I don't know if some of the Times sports people are going to be going over to The Athletic. The Times say they're going to be incorporating The Athletic's coverage into their own printed product along with the online version. All I know is that as a kid that grew up in New York, and I read all the sports section from the New York Post with Dick Young and the Daily News, even Newsday, and Mike Lupica jumped around to all them. But the New York Times had Dave Anderson. Talk about exuding class. Dave Anderson, who I've met and became friends with in my early years as a sports writer. Total class guy, exuded class, Brooklyn born. George Vesey, I became friendly with on the road at a lot of Olympics. He wrote their Sports of the Times column for a while, brought a real kind of wry sense of humor and a everyman's perspective, not necessarily hardcore sports fans perspective. George Vesey, no longer writing. He's been retired for a while, but just that kind of tradition and lineage, to lose that at the Gray Lady, for shame.
That's the way it is there, Mike Mayo. What are you talking about?
It
I
is
mean,
what it
come
is.
into the modern times here. The
It
newspaper
is what it
industry, dead on arrival, my friend.
The
Unfortunately,
Times is
that's
not
why.
dead. They're making money hand over
That's
fist.
Well, they
what
might be.
Because what?
I mean, that's why I appreciate the New York Post sports section. It's one of the last remaining, places where you can get this sort of thing on a regular basis. Decent sports writing and, something
Hey,
that goes beyond just put in a box score in the paper.
Hey,
Good
let's take
columnist.
another break,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to finally get back to the topic of owners taking on customers online.
I
'cause
want to hear
have
what
that
this guy
review.
had to say. He
Oh yeah,
started trashing some of the critics.
yeah.
Excellent.
No, I'm gonna get to that, but first let's talk about coming up next month is Dine Out Lauderdale, and we're helping our friends at Visit Lauderdale out because this August, Visit Lauderdale invites everyone under the sun to indulge in the annual Dine Out Lauderdale promotion. It's going to be taking place August 1st through 31st. And this year it's more diverse than ever. It's not just the fine dining restaurants where you're going to get some great multi-course meals for starting just $45 a person. It's also going to be more of the casual eateries and ethnic and different kinds of great diversity cuisines that you find all over Greater Fort Lauderdale, Broward County. Even some of your favorite cafes and ice cream parlors are going to be part of the mix this year, including our friends at Jackson's. And talk about going to be doing another remote show at Jackson's later this month to celebrate National Ice Cream Month and also their upcoming participation in Dine Out Lauderdale because they're going to be creating a special Everything Under the Sunday.
Do they
that-
have a banana boat there like they did
They
at
have a banana
Jan's?
split.
You remember
Yeah,
Jan's?
Yeah, besides the kitchen sink, they have a
Oh, the
great
kitchen
banana
sink.
split.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Kitchen sink. That's
right.
for multiple people, 4 to 6 people. But for
Did
the
you ever
Dine Out-
finish one off by yourself? That was always
No.
a challenge.
No, but with
No?
other people sometimes. But at Dine Out Lauderdale, the Jackson's people are going to create kind of a miniaturized version of their kitchen sink. It's going to be a Sunday for one, but it's going to be a big old fun Sunday that you could go in there and eat. Again, diners can enjoy sweets and treats, brunches, happy hour specials, and exclusive culinary experiences. It's all going to be part of Dine Out Lauderdale. And again, restaurants, if you're interested, it's not too late to sign up. Just go to dineoutlauderdale.com and you'll see the info and also the link that you could click on to still sign up. And for all you hungry diners out there, you could go on to dineoutlauderdale.com to check out all the restaurants that have already signed up. It's a great roster this year all over the county, not just downtown Fort Lauderdale. I think there's more than 80, and it's going to be looking like 100 to 120 is going to be the total number of restaurants taking part. So go check it out, dineoutlauderdale.com.
The doctor did the reverse spurt sugar on me, Mike Mayo. You can appreciate a good quote, right? And actually looked at me and said, "It's clear, Mr. DeForest, that you would rather be a good liver than have a good liver."
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back. Mike Mayo, what with the
Do you have a fatty
feedback
liver
from the restaurant?
Is that what the results were? Do you have a fatty liver? Because I got that diagnosis a couple years ago.
No. They
I
said
put my liver on a diet because it was a little fatty.
Yeah,
but,
they said, I thought my liver was going to come out looking like a catcher's mitt, the old ones, that like Hobie Landreth had, where it was just a hole. But no, they said it was good. So, all right, we'll come back with more. We're in good cheer here on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in a moment.
Beach Cafe. It's a South Florida landmark, and it's one happy restaurant right on the water. Tables literally on the beach. A place where you could dip your toes in the sand, kick back, relax with island vibes, tropical drinks, and live music daily. You know it. It's at One Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. And of course, it has Chef Chris Nealon and his famed Caribbean Floridian cuisine. With a huge menu with something for everyone. Seafood, raw bar, conch fritters, burgers, sandwiches, salads, deli specials, and of course, that famous Bimini bread. They've got a great staff that'll take great care of you. There's something to celebrate every day. Open 7 days until late. Parking available on site. Happy hour weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. Go check out more at arubabeachcafe.com. Better yet, go in there yourself at Aruba Beach Cafe. Good food, drinks, friends, and laughter are always the catch of the day. When people come to me and say, "Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go?" Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, That's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting? Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasto platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi. Fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. This August, Visit Lauderdale invites everyone under the sun to indulge in the annual Dine Out Lauderdale promotion. This year's options will be more diverse than ever, with fine dining restaurants, casual eateries, and even your favorite cafes and ice cream parlors part of the mix. From August 1st through 31st, scores of restaurants will be offering multi-course meals at discounted prices starting at just $45 per person. Diners can also enjoy sweets and treats, brunches, happy hour specials, and exclusive culinary experiences. This year's lineup includes 3030 Ocean, Foxy Brown, and Lasso Gaucho in Fort Lauderdale, Even Keel Fish Shack and Aruba Beach Cafe in Lauderdale by the Sea, Cafe Max in Pompano, The Cook and the Cork in Coral Springs, Union Kitchen and Bar in Wilton Manors, and more. Restaurants are being added by the day. For the full Dine Out Lauderdale lineup and all the details, go to dineoutlauderdale.com. Back on the Lunchbox, and boy, the hours fly by now. It's great. I wanted to get into, again, the restaurant owner of Heritage. It's one of my favorite places. And, I guess he was a little bit controversial because he had his, restaurant open during the beginning parts of COVID, as soon as they were allowed to reopen in May. And he didn't make anybody wear a mask inside because his point of view was that if you just wear a mask to your table, but then you're in a crowded, cramped room when you take off your mask and eat, that wearing the mask in and out is kind of useless. So he was not anti-mask. He was just saying it made no sense scientifically, and the science bore him out in the end. He also told his staff that, if you're not comfortable, basically we're going to be opening and operating, and that to find other jobs. And he had some strident opinions, okay, but his food is excellent. And I'll never forget the first time I walked in there. It was for lunch service. It was after I'd been vaccinated and I was comfortable going to restaurants again. And I'll never forget, like, I just walk in. He didn't know who I was from Adam at that point. And we walk in and he just said to our group, he says, go seat yourself wherever you feel most comfortable. And I just did that, and I felt warm and welcomed ever since. But again, he's a guy who, if you go online and level criticisms at him that he thinks are unfair or ridiculous, he'll mock you. And I don't know if that's the right way or not, but the place is packed every night, and he does a great job with the food. And he directed this to a guy named Alex, who, besides posting on the Let's Eat Facebook group about his opinion, was that the food was good, but that it was extremely loud in there, and it was uncomfortably loud, and he wouldn't go back because of that. Apparently, the guy posted the same type of review on Yelp, and this was Reno's response to him. Hey, Alex, glad you like the food, but please feel free to change this to a 1-star review. I guess Alex must have left like a 3-star review in between. He says, change this to a 1-star review. Yes, it's a small place. It's cramped because it is packed out the door, and we have that Manhattan vibe. It's true. It's like a place that you find in Soho. He goes, you want peace and quiet? Go down on the beach or an outdoor patio and dine. Or dine in the middle of a cemetery, and I guarantee you no one will bother you at all. This place has life. It's loud because everyone is having a great time and enjoying themselves. I hear Olive Garden also can accommodate you for a nice quiet table, and the breadsticks cost $0.
You gotta love it, man. I mean, he's entitled to fight back, right? All these people, it's just like you're a human punching bag if you're a
Look,
restaurateur and you have to subject yourself to all of these people that are filing their stories and complaints on Yelp.
look,
Not just Yelp, they go on multiple places. It's not
Yeah.
good enough just to be on Yelp. They got to come on Let's Eat. They got to go on TripAdvisor. Like, what is with the people? They just copy and paste their thing. Like, I was exclusive to the Sun Sentinel. When I wrote a review for the Sun Sentinel, I wouldn't write a word anywhere else. I mean, because I was getting paid to be their critic. But you know, why these people feel the need to go and shout, not just from one rooftop, but from every rooftop, if they say, "Hey, the place is loud and it's awful," and blah blah blah. And I don't know.
That was a pretty clever response. I think he
That was
nailed
great.
it on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was
Go eat,
great.
go eat in the middle of a cemetery.
Well,
That
look,
was a good
it's funny. We critique those who are critical, and look, and that's why I like Let's See, because there's nothing wrong with voicing your opinion. Mayo Defo mocks you, but Mayo will give constructive criticism directly to the freaking owner because no one's perfect. So I don't mind if your criticism of, you told him, look, it's getting sort of stale. You probably use a nicer word. It was more
No,
tactful.
I just said I'd love to see more proteins and a little bit more creativity, or some new items on the
And
menu.
I guarantee if someone had said something tactfully, he would say, look, you're probably not wrong, whatever. So you want to criticize certain things, Timon will do the same thing. I've talked with him and he's honest about things. But to criticize, and that's what people have an issue with Runway. Well, it's loud. Isn't that the point? Like, there's an energy, there's a vibe. Like,
Look, there are some
shop. I don't know what the hell to tell you. It's a freaking Friday, Saturday night, guys. Like, what the hell do you want? Like,
there are some restaurants that are built for that energy, and they have entertainment and singing, and yeah, it's going to be loud. And then there are other more sedate, staid, romantic places where you can have that quiet little corner table with the candlelight. And that's what you just got to accept restaurants for what they are and what they're trying to be. And then they'll go on saying, it's too loud in there for me. It's like, well, you know what? If it's too loud, that's fine. That's valid. There are places that I find too loud. I just don't go back. I don't need to blasting them full blast. So there you go. You have irony. Somebody's complaining about loudness that then loudly complains. So
exactly.
Listen to you, Mike Mayo. Very poetic ending to the show here.
You like?
Yeah, that was
Well,
good. I mean,
it's
you pulled
almost
it out
the
of your
ending.
fanny at the end. Yeah,
Almost the
very good.
ending, because I got to do a couple of more business items. Well, first of all, we got to tell people our upcoming road schedule, and we're going to be busy the rest of the month. Tomorrow, we're going to be making a road trip to the 561 Delray Beach. Our friends
In
at
your area, back in your
Rappaport Restaurant Group. We're excited to. It's going to be a great fall with them. But we're going to be visiting tomorrow Burton Max's restaurant, and they've got some new summer menu items coming out. We're going to be sitting down with the chef and general manager up there. That's going to be tomorrow. Thursday, we're going to be at Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. I'd love to go out, make our monthly stop there. Friday, Gulfstream. Next Tuesday, Wicked Cheesesteaks. Next Wednesday, trying to line up Casa Calabria and do our monthly visit there. Wow. Then we'll be at, of course, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood a week from Thursday on the 20th, and talking about upcoming Florida lobster season and have some other seafood treats. And I got to tell you, if you want to stock your fridge and get your table all set for the upcoming weekend, you want to do some grilling, Delaware Chicken and Seafood Farm is the place to go, because they've got the freshest in seafood from the state of Florida and beyond, all kinds of great fish from all over, including now they have the Alaskan salmon and the halibut and things from the Northeast, like their Maine lobsters they get in fresh. Also, they can steam them up for you right on the spot, along with their famous poultry display and all the meats, the steaks, the sausages. Why do I keep saying that? Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Restaurant, 4191 North State Road 7. I'm struggling today, Defo.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when you get gutted, when you hit a 650,000 to one shot and you get paid.
That was disgusting.
Like a dime.
Yeah.
But you go into Delaware and they'll take great care of you, and you get great value. So even if you take a bad beat or don't get paid maybe what you're worth on a ridiculous hit, you'll still be able to go in there and get anything that you need and want for the home kitchen We love that place. We're going to be there. Doug Carter and his crew, they also take great pride and great care of their customers, whether you're a first timer or a long timer like me. I've been going there for 3 decades. Love the place. Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, DelawareChicken.com for the weekly specials and daily offerings. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
That was great when the guy asked if you were there for the snapper, and you said no, just for the halibut.
Just for the hell of it.
Very nice.
All right, that's going to do it for today. I'll let Defo get back to watching tennis or maybe betting,
Pretty good match. Joker's coming back down a second set here, but very interesting. They're getting down to the semifinal round, so been a good tournament so far.
Excellent. All right. We'll be back tomorrow from Delray Beach. Burton Max's. Come on out if you want to join us up in Delray Beach, just west of the Turnpike in that Delray Marketplace Plaza. And until then, enjoy every espresso martini, enjoy every flopped royal flush, and enjoy every sandwich.